All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kyle Escamilla, and I am the training coordinator for Aviva Select California. Thank you for attending our Learn in 30 webinar today, focused on Flex starter bundle options. After the webinar this morning, we'll be doing a short Q&A. Please type any questions or comments into the Q&A box, the chat box, or you can email us at webinar@california.avivaselect.com. Now I'd like to introduce your presenter for today's webinar, Daniel Ruatta. Daniel is a product specialist for Aviva Select California. Good morning, Daniel.
Hey, and just one maybe minor modification. If you guys have questions, throw them in the chat or just interrupt me. This type of webinar, what we're doing is really we're trying to have a conversation. We're trying to collect questions and collect feedback. So if you guys have feedback on a particular slide, a particular topic, just stop me, just call out, hey, I've got a question on this, or throw it in the chat. Whatever works for you, it's your choice. But the whole point of having this type of discussion is to make sure that your guys' questions get answered, that we continue the conversation. And so I can stand up here and spout off, but we want to make sure that you guys are the ones getting educated. That's the primary, right? You guys and your questions are the primary focus. So don't hesitate to reach out and ask at any time. So as Kyle mentioned, I'm Daniel Ruatta. My email is up here on slide number 1. So if you've got additional questions, of course, just send me an email after the fact if you'd like. I wanted to talk today about Flex. So for those of you who don't know, Flex is Aviva's subscription program. Historically, Aviva has utilized a more maybe traditional something called a perpetual model, where you purchase a license once, you own that license, you install that license on a given machine, say in a manufacturing plant or a wastewater plant or a power generation plant, etc. And in some occasions, customers might just sort of set that license and forget it. And one thing I would say is that Aviva is sort of challenging that notion with Flex. So I've had conversations with customers about Flex, where the idea is more so that your SCADA licensing can be an active discussion. And so if you're a system integrator, for example, your customers and you can have active ongoing discussions about licensing. So with the Aviva Flex subscription, you can get a 1-year or a 3-year Flex license subscription. And I think there's even discussion about a 2-year or a 4-year type of bundle for Flex. And so my proposal to some of my customers, who are mostly system integrators, is something like, you can have continual conversations with your customers about licensing every year. You can have design reviews every year. You can do improvements to your install base every year. Same thing if you're an end user of Aviva products. You don't have to necessarily just set your license and forget it. And I would say Aviva is sort of trying to change that paradigm to some degree, where we don't really want to see instances like Stuxnet, or we don't want to see instances in the field where cybersecurity is a large issue because an install is excessively old or something like that, right? Software becomes outdated over time. And by going on to a subscription model, what you generally arguably do is increase the probability that you've got a secure application, an up-to-date application, essentially the best possible application that you could have for you and your business and your customers. And so Aviva still offers the perpetual model, the perpetual licensing model, where you just purchase a license once and you install it and you own it. That still is the case for the majority of products, the 2 exceptions being Historian and System Platform. The latest installs of Historian and System Platform are now Flex only. So again, you can kind of see that Aviva is really pushing for this subscription model. You can still get perpetual, but Aviva, I think, is really trying to push this idea of, let's go subscription. Let's have a continual conversation between end customers, integrators, and Aviva. Let's have a continuous improvement process, not just our end, right? We release new products all the time, improvements all the time, but let's incentivize our customers to do this. Let's provide them with a subscription-based program where they can see continual improvement in their products every year even. And wouldn't that be great? So I'll start by talking about what I would say is the most important of any of the packages I'm going to talk about today. I think I've got 3 or 4 packages here that include the key components really in any installation at all. So you get user interface development, user interface runtimes, historization / logging, whatever you'd like to call it, and automated reporting, all built into any one of these bundles. So one thing AVEVA is attempting to do with the bundles I'll talk about next is provide a simple, generic, single license solution to, provide a simple, single license solution to a given set of customer problems. So AVEVA has listened to customer feedback over time. They've understood that licensing can be complex at times. And salespeople work hard at this to make sure customers get optimal licensing. Customers want to make sure that they're getting great value for the money they pay. And so AVEVA's resolution to that is, let's offer some really high value bundles. Let's offer a lot of utility within the Flex bundles that cover these 3 topics. And let's show customers that we can offer boilerplate standard solutions to what might otherwise be a complex list of licenses. I'm sure some of you or many of you may have seen complex quotes, multiple licenses included, numerous quantities within that quote. Quotes for the licenses I'm about to talk about are single licenses. So you literally buy one license and it covers a multitude of applications, multitude of subjects, multitude of problems, all in one license. Again, the focus is simple, effective, boilerplate licensing for as many customers as possible. We want to make sure that you guys have an easy solution to your problems. But, and I'll get into this more later, you will, in the Flex program, be able to add in different sub-modules to kind of tailor and customize your application. And we can talk more about that. So let's get into the first one, InTouch Starter. It's a really nice little package, 700 credits per year. If you don't know about the credit system in Flex, this is something you can talk to your salesperson about. Basically, each Flex credit has a corresponding dollar amount, and that dollar amount is sort of a current market value type of concept. So just reach out to your salesperson, ask them what, hey, what's the dollar amount of this number of credits I'm looking to build, product X, Y, and Z, and you and your salesperson can figure it out. So 700 credits for this bundle. You get 5 InTouch workstation licenses, right? So that's a window viewer license. You get 5 window viewer licenses, each with 100,000 tags. So you get a very large tag count. Of course, if you have tag counts even higher than that, talk to your sales rep. We can find a solution for you that works. We can find, if you have 1 million tags in your application, or 500,000 tags, 250,000, talk to us. We'll make sure that you get a package that works for you. And actually, I think in the next package, we'll talk a little bit more about an even larger number of tags. But you get 5 window viewer licenses, 100,000 tags each. You get a redundant tag server. So you get a single tag server that will aggregate all of that tag data from the given PLCs that you're collecting data from, for example, and it will then send data to all of your window viewer clients, and you get redundancy built in as well. So if your tag server PC within, say, this block diagram I've got here, if tag server PC number 1 crashes for some reason, right, you get a Windows operating system crash, you can have a second PC with a second tag server. It's included within your license. The PC is not included in your license, but the tag server the redundant tag server is included in this license. And that second tag server and its PC will kick in and continue to send data to window viewer. You do also get OPC UA server capability. So this is something that's been implemented in the past few years. Is AVEVA has listened to customer feedback. We understand that some customers want to talk to third-party devices using OPC UA. That capability is also built in to this package. So you get OPC UA capability as well. You get a 5-pack. I'll try to get through as many of these features as I can in 30 minutes. You get a 5-pack of InTouch HMI clients or InTouch web clients. You get a 5-pack of standard communication drivers. So I think that's something like 9 to 12 communication drivers, but don't quote me on that. Again, talk to your salesperson. We can get you an exact list of which communication drivers are included. And you get a 5,000 tag historian license and a 5,000 tag AVEVA reports license. Huge amount of product. Again, kind of I would say the thesis here is an enormous amount of product within a single license, all within a single bundle. So you buy one bundle and you get a ton of product built in. Now we talk unlimited. So I mentioned, okay, maybe you have an application that's higher than 100,000 tags. Well, let's go unlimited. For another 300 credits, we now go to an even larger application. So if you're a big customer of ours, a lot of tags within your application, a lot of complexity, talk to your salesperson about InTouch HMI Unlimited. You get, again, that one tag server with unlimited tags and redundancy built in. You get that OPC UA server capability within your application. You get unlimited RDS clients within your application. So with many of these bundles, what you'll see, I think, is that if you choose to do RDS communication to your window viewer application, so if you want to have many different client PCs all accessing your central node, right? In this case, I call it, or we call it an RDS server node. By the way, these beautiful block diagrams were made by our excellent product specialist team. Just want to give a quick shout out. If you have multiple client PCs that want to access your window viewer application, what you can do, arguably, and this might be the more cost-effective or cheaper option, is you can utilize RDS, right, remote desktop services. You can utilize RDS licensing to potentially save money on licensing. And in turn, AVEVA will support that licensing. So you can do unlimited RDS access to your single RDS server node, RDS server PC, where your primary window viewer application is running. Now, I have heard secondhand that there are limitations to that. So there's a recommended maximum of 40 RDS clients per RDS server node, something like that. And so if you run into issues with that, again, with that maximum, again, reach out to your salesperson. We can try to work out a solution for you, but unlimited RDS clients, it's potentially a way to save money, and it's a way to simplify your application and include sort of that unlimited capability. And finally, you get one standard communication driver package within this Flex package, and that communication driver does include redundancy as well. So you get redundant communication. I believe what that means is that even if your initial communication driver process fails for some reason, you'll have a second backup driver that will allow, oh, sorry, my slides keep pushing forward for some reason. You'll get a second communication driver that will continue to communicate data. I believe we might have a question from Matthew. Does RDS server node / AVEVA report / historian node tag server or development will be in different computers or servers? Let's see. Matthew, I don't fully understand the question. If you could just retype it for me. and this might be something we'll want to take offline. I don't know if I can answer it in the 30 minutes that we have. So this may be something that you and I can talk about offline. Because that looks to me like you're talking about a slightly different system block diagram for that particular bundle. And so a short answer that I can give you is yes, you can reconfigure these block diagrams. The block diagrams that we have here are just examples. So we just wanted to give, again, the product specialists did a great job. We just want to give examples of each block or each block diagram for a given bundle, but these can be configured in different ways. So let's, it's a good question. Well, I don't know if we have time to cover it in the 30 minutes, but good question. Okay. Really quick, to finish off this bundle, you also get a 100,000 tag historian with redundancy. So, I mean, again, right, if you have a giant application, you get giant historization, right? A lot of value included, and you get unlimited AVEVA reports for operations. So you can have as many tags within your AVEVA reports application as you would like in this bundle, right? This we're pushing the unlimited envelope, so to speak. Kyle, how am I doing on time?
We started a little late, but we've got like 10, 12 minutes left if you're trying to hit that 30-minute mark.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll do what I can. All right. 7 more bundles to go. So single node starter. Now I'll maybe I can talk about both of these bundles simultaneously. We've got a 5-node starter and we got a single node starter. So again, talking about scaling up your application, I think we might even have a 10-node starter package as well. So maybe one other thing I could mention, again, within Flex, we have an enormous number of bundles. There's a lot of customizability. For today's discussion, all I wanted to do was kind of show some sort of generic, standard, high-value bundles, but there's a ton of customizability. Okay, so within this single node starter, you get an application server license, meaning that you can run a single app engine, plus that app engine is going to have redundancy. So even if in this block diagram example, if application server PC or application server node number 1 fails, application server node number 2 will continue to collect data from the PLCs, right? We've got a couple of example PLCs and we'll talk about those in a minute. Those the application server node number 2 will continue to send data to your supervisory client node. And again, that supervisory client node, it can either be an OMI view app, or it can be a InTouch window viewer app. And both OMI and InTouch, OMI viewer and InTouch window viewer are both licensed by this bundle. Now, we talk about unlimited IO for your engine. AVEVA does try to put some limitations or maybe recommended maximum limits, but again, if you have the processing power, if you have, you know, a 200 gigahertz processor, right, or some massive level of processing power, let's see how far we can push it, right? Let's kind of see what the, you know, how many tags can we fit into a given application, right? Let's try to push the limits. That's really in part what AVEVA is trying to do with these unlimited bundles. We try to move at the speed of our customers is sort of one phrase we use. So if you guys have a huge number of tags, let's see if we can utilize all those tags within one application, within one license, and still maintain sufficient throughput without excessive lag or anything like that. Now, that being said, suggested configuration from AVEVA, something like 10,000 IO points per app engine, and 20. I've also heard 20,000 kind of thrown around, but again, talk to your salesperson. If there are physical limits, again, we're going to be here. We're going to try to work with you and make sure that our licensing works for you. Couple other things, the PLC Logic Viewer is included. So for those of you who don't know the PLC Logic Viewer, it's a really kind of cool application. It's a read-only method of viewing your PLC code. I think currently Modicon PLCs are supported. I think that's Schneider, but I could be wrong. Modicon PLCs, Rockwell PLCs, and Siemens PLCs are all supported by this PLC Viewer app. And basically what it does is it gives your operators and engineers a way of viewing your PLC code without having to potentially accidentally write to it. So rather than opening up TIA portal and looking into that TIA portal application live and potentially accidentally making an online change, which could be a bit risky. Instead, the PLC Logic Viewer app allows you to have, say, your system platform application and your PLC application. It'll actually read the ladder logic, structured text, function block diagram, etc., from the PLC, and then it'll display live values next to system platform in a read-only format. So again, you don't have to worry about potentially writing an online change to your PLC and damaging something in the manufacturing process, something like that. Really kind of a cool concept. And those 3 PLC brands are currently supported. You also get a single communication driver package included within this bundle. That 2 standard communication drivers, I believe that's a typo. You get a single standard communication driver. You may want to double check me on that particular note. I believe it's only 1. It may be that you get 1 plus redundancy. Anyway, I may need a fact check on that. We can ask Pierre Harry, who's here. And you also get a 5,000 tag historian and a 5,000 tag AVEVA reports license included in the bundle. And then 5-node starter, I won't say too much because again, we're just talking about scaling up that 1 node to 5, but essentially, right, you'll get 5 window viewer applications or 5 OMI view applications within this bundle instead of 1. And I believe you also get 5, you also get 5 app engines, all with redundancy. Let me just check my notes, see if there's anything else I want to mention. Oh, and you also get 5 communication driver licenses within this bundle. Same number of tags within your historian and AVEVA reports licensing. So 5,000 tags in historian and 5,000 tags in AVEVA reports. All right, we probably got a few more minutes. Again, we'll try to save some time for questions. We'll see. Unlimited client bundles. I think I got 3 of these, and then I got 2 reporting / logging bundles I want to talk about. So try to get through these. InTouch HMI SCADA. You're going to get for 700 credits, 1 tag server with unlimited tags. Again, if you've got concerns about throughput, computational power, talk to your salesperson. You also get redundancy within that tag server. Again, a nice little feature. You get 1 window maker license. So really, this package even isn't just a client license, because you do also get development. That window maker license has unlimited tags, same thing as your tag server. You get unlimited RDS clients. So again, kind of what I was mentioning earlier, if you want as a customer to potentially try to utilize cheaper RDS licensing, AVEVA is going to support you on that. So you can go with unlimited RDS clients within this bundle, purchase your RDS licenses from Microsoft, potentially save money in that part of your application, get an overall cheaper budget for your project, save a little bit of money. The only thing here, communication drivers are not included in this package, but you do get that OPC UA server capability. Oh, right. And if you want to license additional window viewer clients on additional PCs to view this application, you will need to buy those licenses separately. And again, we can talk about that. There are additional flex bundles that we can potentially add in to give you additional window viewer licenses if you would like to go down that route. Again, one recommendation might be to go the RDS route because you get unlimited RDS clients within the bundle, and you connect via RDS to your window viewer application, maybe make things a little bit simpler. Supervisory server, this is for a system platform / application server, same concept. System platform and application server, two names for the same thing. Supervisory server, this is a bundle that allows you to purchase unlimited clients for your system platform application. So again, we are looking at unlimited RDS clients. So in the same vein, if you have unlimited, or if you would like unlimited viewing capability from an unlimited number of computers, let's talk about doing that via RDS, because again, right, we might be able to simplify things via this bundle. Separate licensing, if you want to do if you want to do separate OMI view apps or separate window viewer applications on other computers, again, you will need to buy those licenses separately. You'll kind of see that concept throughout many of these bundles. Same reasoning, RDS might just be simpler. The PLC logic viewer is included in this application, so you will be able to view PLC code alongside your HMI code as it's running, and again, maybe improve your diagnostic capability in that sense. And then finally, redundancy is included. So I believe you do get redundancy within, not within the app engines, within the actual, within the clients themselves, I believe. But again, we may need to fact check on that. Anyway, redundancy is included within this particular package, as are historian clients. So for every RDS client that you implement, you also get a historian client. So if you're doing RDS into, say, your primary supervisory node that I've got up here at the top, whenever you have a computer with RDS that's viewing your, say, OMI view app, you also get a corresponding historian client that you can then utilize to view your data logs as well. Kyle, how are we doing? We got like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're nearing the end, but you can. I think you have time to finish up here.
Okay. All right. Next thing, Aviva Edge. You are going to get a unlimited Edge tag server, right? So unlimited tags. You're going to get the full Aviva Edge communication drivers package, which I think is about 150 drivers. Last time I looked at the full list, it's about 150 drivers. Edge is a very impressive, very communicative product. If you don't know about Edge, it's a really low cost product. Our Edge Flex bundles, or even Edge Perpetual bundles, very low cost, ease of entry type of thing. So for example, this is a 700 credit bundle, but this is, I think, the largest Edge bundle that we've got. On the opposite end, I think we've got a Edge Internet of Things bundle for embedded systems, and that's like 150 credits. Very low cost, very easy to get. You know, if you've got a small Raspberry Pi system or, you know, something like that, we have bundles for that as well. In this package, you're also going to get unlimited Edge Thin clients. You get one Edge Studio license for Edge development. And again, this is for Windows only, as far as I'm aware. But again, if you've got a different operating system, right, something Linux-based, for example, a Raspberry Pi, we also have even cheaper bundles for that as well. Okay. Last two bundles, Historian Unlimited. Basically, within these last two packages, the first package is Historian Unlimited, and the second package is AVEVA Reports Unlimited. So in both of these bundles, you're going to see unlimited tags. You get no limits on retrieval. So you can historize for 10 years, 20 years, as long as you need, right? If you need unlimited historization in your logs, which you very well might, you have no limits on that. Just one interesting note, this bundle, I'll need to double check the credit count, but AVEVA very recently is talking about these new Insight bundles. And I've got a 120 credit Insight bundle. It's only a year of logging, but if you guys don't know about Insight, it's our cloud-based historization platform. You get 1 year of logging for a single user, but it's only 120 credits. So if you have short-term logging requirements, Insight is actually a really interesting way of potentially looking into that. So if you've got questions on that, send me an email. Right, and then this is generally speaking going to be for a so-called tier 1 historian. So for those of you who don't know, AVEVA purchased, I should talk about that too. AVEVA purchased InTouch Web Studio, which is now AVEVA Edge, and so that's what I was talking about on the previous slide. InTouch Web Studio is a fantastic product. I've utilized it myself in workshops. AVEVA also purchased OSI Pi, and so what AVEVA is now proposing to its many customers, I think in part due to the fact that Pi is so communicative, I think it's got something like 200 drivers or 250 drivers to various platforms. What AVEVA is generally recommending is that on the first tier of historization, so at a machine-to-machine basis, you can utilize Historian for data logging. But at the second tier of historization, when you start to aggregate multi-machine data, AVEVA is typically recommending that a given customer utilize AVEVA Pi. And we can talk more about that outside of this webinar. Also, redundancy is included within this Historian package as well. And to close, we also have unlimited AVEVA reports for operations. So for those of you who don't know, AVEVA also purchased the reporting app. Yeah, they also purchased Dream Report from Ocean Data Systems, and it is now called AVEVA Reports. And within this Flex bundle, you get unlimited licensing for that. Plus, I think you get a few specialty modules. You get an MES reporting module, statistical process control. You get a module for that. And you get all the drivers included within AVEVA Reports. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, scrolling through different slides. And you also get all of the communication drivers included in AVEVA Reports. I think we're probably out of time. Kyle, am I right?
Yeah, we're stretching over there, but how much did you have left to get through?
That's everything.
Oh, no, I think that's good then. We do still have time to take a few more questions. It's mainly for the presentation portion.
Cool, cool. Okay. Good. So let's and I believe Pierre, are you here?
Here, let him speak. Oh, he's actually not here anymore.
Oh, okay. All right. That's all right. Cool. So it looks to me like we've only got one question. Matthew, your question is, does the RDS server node / Aviva reports node / historian node / tag server node / development node, does that, yeah, okay. So I think your question is, do those nodes have to be in separate computers? I think that's your question. And that is a good question. And the answer is no. So you can host all of these different modules within the same PC. I think one thing that we tend to think about, maybe as product specialists or sales engineers or salespeople or customers, is that if you've got a complex manufacturing environment, especially if you have, say, if you need to create reports for the FDA, and if you're in food manufacturing, or if you're in pharmaceutical manufacturing, as two examples, the cost of adding in a couple more PCs into your application might be a few $1,000s. But the trade-off there is that you can then distribute your redundant licenses across multiple PCs. And the idea being is that if you're creating a large batch of, again, a large pharmaceutical batch, right? You're making aspirin, you're making Advil, you're making more expensive types of drugs, for example. The destruction of your expensive batch, or maybe even multiple batches, might be vastly more expensive than adding in a few additional PCs for redundancy. And so basically the thought is that, I think, is something like, the Windows operating system is a great operating system, and it's kind of the foundation for our product, but it's not 100% reliable. And so the solution to that is redundancy within licensing and PCs. So if you have multiple PCs, if you have redundant licensing, and I think this is a somewhat common solution, you simply have multiple PCs with redundant licenses. And so even if one PC fails, you will still have your application be online. It's just that data will then flow through a different portion of that redundant network.